Bandit Secret is certainly one of the most versatile Nen abilities in existence. I mean, it's just absolutely impossible to plan against, primarily because Chrollo could pull literally anything out of that book. Like, say for example, a YouTube subscribe button, which forcibly subscribes his opponent to this channel in order to have regular Hunter x Hunter content uploaded straight into their YouTube feed. And just, good luck improvising against that. I don't consider Judas to be a traitor. They say Judas sold Jesus over for 30 silver coins. How much would this traitor sell us out for? Think about it. What would he gain by selling us to the mafia? Money? Fame? Status? Would that really gratify any one of us? Hello and welcome to Hunter x Hunter 101, the series that breaks down everyone and everything in the Hunter x Hunter world. And today we're going to be examining one of the more prolific figures in this series, being the leader of the infamous Phantom Troop, Chrollo Lucilfer. Chrollo Lucilfer is a relatively young man with a very bold sense of fashion, we should say, preferring to don a dark purple fur coat where possible, and an intricately detailed cross-shaped tattoo smack bang on his forehead. Which, forehead tattoos, they're always a wonderful sign of sanity. But in all seriousness, Chrollo wears his aesthetic exceptionally well and complements it with a consistently calm and collected demeanor, which is highly necessary in order for him to command a large group of exceptionally volatile personas. Chrollo is also by far one of the most intelligent characters who has ever been introduced into Hunter x Hunter, capable of rapidly calculating strategy on a grandmaster scale in regards to every facet of life necessary, including battle. And furthermore, Chrollo is one of the rare beings in Hunter x Hunter to show no fear of death whatsoever, which was noted by Melody when she discovered that Chrollo's heartbeat sounded as if it was completely at ease, living with the idea of death. And the combination of all of the above features has greatly contributed to Chrollo being considered one of the most dangerous beings in the series. Something else I'd also like to point out at this stage, because people always try to call me up on this, his name is Chrollo Lucilfer with an L, which I swear I do pronounce, but the L gets lost in my accent, or just in the way I say things. So if I ever do say Chrollo Lucilfer, I promise I am recognizing the L, it gets lost. In any case, this mysterious man, like much of the Phantom Troop, originated from Meteor City, a junkyard civilization where all of the world's trash is disposed of, even people. As a result, Chrollo's existence does not appear on any official global records, which would go on to be a huge asset to his future activities, as at some stage during his youth, Chrollo would gather a selection of Meteor City's inhabitants and propose forming the Phantom Troop. And in this regard, Chrollo had a very clear vision of the existence of this cohort, boldly claiming that while he would form the head of the spider, there would be times where the legs would be far more important than the head, and that the utmost priority was ensuring the survival of the spider as a whole. And this quite wonderfully expresses the fact that while ambitious, Chrollo is in no way a selfish individual and would very willingly sacrifice himself in order to ensure the safety of his fellow troop members. Chrollo's feelings of concern for his fellow human beings really do not extend much beyond this group though, as he swiftly set them to work becoming a fearsome global force focused on acquiring phenomenal amounts of money through any means necessary, which can range from simple thievery all the way to an orchestrated genocide. And in regards to that second example there, this would be implemented when the troop conducted the massacre of the Kurt clan for the purpose of selling their scarlet eyes to body part collectors on the black market. And given that in the series one pair of these eyes has been sold for close to 3 billion Jenny, well, that essentially gives you an idea that nothing is off limits for Chrollo, so long as the price is right. With that said, this particular incident would come to cause quite a problem for Chrollo, as one member of the Kurt clan was not present for the massacre, being one of our 4 protagonists, Karapika, who went on to dedicate his life to taking revenge against the troop, as well as recover the lost eyes of his clan members. More on that in a bit though, because Chrollo is actually no stranger to making enemies in this world, and in fact at one stage during his past, he even faced off directly against Silver Zoldyck, who managed to kill an unknown member of the Phantom Troop. And while the exact details of this encounter are unknown, both combatants did manage to survive, which is already a stunning endorsement of Chrollo's raw fighting power. But things become even more insane when we delve into the art of Nen. In terms of Nen, Chrollo is a specialist, meaning that his particular affinity cannot be boxed in or planned for without prior knowledge of his specific Hatsu. And Chrollo's elected use of Nen primarily manifests itself in an ability known as Bandit Secret. And long story short, this allows Chrollo to steal the Nen abilities of others, although long story long, it is only able to achieve this by fulfilling the following conditions. Firstly, Chrollo must witness the desired ability in action, which is usually fairly easy. Then he must ask a question about said ability and actually have the user answer him, which can be a surprisingly difficult one to achieve against an experienced combatant who are highly secretive about their particular Hatsu. Thirdly, his victim's palm must touch the handprint of the cover of Bandit Secret, which I would say is the most difficult one. And finally, all of this needs to be completed within the time limit of 1 hour, or else Chrollo needs to start again. However, if he does manage to fulfill all of those conditions, then he gains access to that Nen ability, and his victim loses that power. But one further condition to invoke that ability is that Chrollo must keep Bandit Secret open on the page where that particular Nen power is listed. Although Chrollo does eventually evolve a way to circumvent this, but we'll get to that. For now, with all of this equipped, Chrollo was able to fend off Silver Zoldyck and earn the fearful respect of one of the world's greatest assassins, showing Chrollo off to be a truly terrifying force in this world, even at this relatively early stage in the game. However, his modern day skills are even more terrifying, as these days he is capable of fighting competently in a 2-on-1 format against both Silver Zoldyck and his father Xeno Zoldyck. So just arguably two of the greatest assassins in the world, who to be fair were very likely to eventually defeat Chrollo, albeit at the cost of one of their lives. Furthermore, Xeno himself did go on to suggest that if they had fought 1-on-1 and Chrollo had the intent to kill, then things may not have worked out so well for the old assassin. When it comes to his primary involvement in the series though, Chrollo would be showcased as the main antagonist of the York New City arc along with the rest of the Phantom Troop, whereby he ordered a mandatory gathering of the troop members in the urban center to raid an underground auction being hosted by the 10 Mafia Dons. Now by this point, the troop had a total of 13 members, many of whom were still the original party formed in Meteor City. However, one very notable addition to the gang was Hisoka Moro, an exceptionally powerful being who had managed to defeat a prior member of the troop and take their place. However, Hisoka had only done so because he fetishized the chance to fight Chrollo 1-on-1, and as such he would spend most of this arc constantly undermining Chrollo in order to achieve that desired climax. Chrollo certainly did have other problems though, because while everything went well at first, eventually Kurapika, the survivor of the Kota clan massacre, made his presence known and managed to swiftly kill a troop member by the name of Uvogin. And while the loss of his comrade, and one of the founding members of the troop no less, filled Chrollo with a profound desire for revenge, he elected to do so in a classically calm and collected manner. In fact, his first stop would be to approach a girl named Neon Estrade, daughter of Light Estrade, a prominent underworld figure. But Neon was important because she was also a specialist Nen user who possessed an ability known as Lovely Ghostwriter, which allowed Neon to produce accurate yet cryptic fortunes of various individuals. And through his charming nature, Chrollo not only had his own fortune told, but he was able to use Bandit Secret to fool Neon and acquire the Lovely Ghostwriter ability for himself, which he used to produce fortunes for the rest of the Phantom Troop, leading to a startling result, signifying that 5 more members of the gang would die if they encounter Kurapika within the next 2 weeks. In order to avoid this, Chrollo then planned to return to Meteor City to dodge this fate. However, Hisoka used one of his Nen abilities, Texture Surprise, to alter his own fortune and coerce the troop into staying into York New City to deal with Kurapika. And look, the following events certainly do not play out well, as Chrollo would be captured by Kurapika and have a Nen curse placed on him through the Judgment Chain ability, giving Chrollo the commands of not being able to contact the rest of the troop, nor was he able to invoke Nen in general. And the breaking of either of those rules would result in his immediate death. Furthermore, the troop lost another member in Palkunoda, who chose to sacrifice herself to inform the rest of the members of exactly what had gone down. But with Chrollo artificially ostracized from the Phantom Troop, he then focused on the part of his prophecy that Neon had written for him, indicating that he would go east, a destination that would later be revealed to be Greed Island. And after acquiring a copy of the game, Chrollo was even able to recruit Hisoka to enter it for him. And just to be clear, Chrollo's communication with Hisoka is technically allowed under Kurapika's conditions, because Hisoka was only ever pretending to be a troop member. But alas, he sent the Mad Magician in to source a Nen Exorcist to remove Kurapika's curse, which Hisoka did eventually find and provide, in the hopes of eventually achieving his dream of fighting Chrollo. And at this point, I guess I have to throw out the mandatory spoiler warning for non-manga readers. I mean, at this point, all of this happened years and years and years ago, and who knows if it will ever be animated. But if you're still concerned about being spoiled for manga events, then please do skip to this time. But for everyone else, we are going to continue to the good stuff. So after successfully having Kurapika's curse removed, Chrollo took up Hisoka's challenge, and the two would fight in Heaven's Arena, where interestingly enough, Chrollo had earned the status of Floor Master. However, this was no ordinary bout, as Chrollo had gone to great lengths to plan a perfect strategy to deal with Hisoka, part of which was the development of a new original ability known as Double Face, which produced a bookmark to be used in concert with Bandit Secret, allowing Chrollo to keep a Nen ability active on the page marked. But he also came equipped with 5 other borrowed and or stolen abilities, the combination of which allowed him to utterly dominate and eventually kill Hisoka. From here, Chrollo planned to assemble the troop on the Black Whale 1, the vessel publicly bound for the Dark Continent, and populated by the royal family of the Karkin Empire, which naturally, Chrollo was keen on acquiring their vast fortune. However, his purpose aboard the ship would come to abruptly change when it was discovered that Hisoka had invoked post-mortem Nen to bring himself back to life, and went on to kill 2 other Phantom Troop members, being Shalnak and Kortopi. And at this point, Chrollo began showing emotion, like actual emotion, which is incredibly uncharacteristic of him, consisting primarily of rage and despair. And when what was left of the troop did finally assemble aboard the Black Whale 1, Chrollo made their primary objective to find and kill Hisoka. And currently, Chrollo is on the hunt to do exactly that. Some more fun facts about Chrollo. Rather interestingly, it has been shown that Chrollo is capable of accessing the Hunter website, which implies that he himself may be a hunter, although it is highly possible that he just stole the license of a hunter or used the license of one of his fellow troop members, as at the very least both Hisoka and Shalnak were licensed hunters at the time. In the fanbase at large, Chrollo is a wildly popular character, having secured 4th place in the 2nd character poll and 8th place in the 3rd poll, both of which were conducted by Weekly Shonen Jump. And finally, a truly useless fact. In the ever reliable official Hunter x Hunter databook, Chrollo's name is spelt as Chrollo Lucilfer, which honestly just feels to me like someone just mashed their head against a keyboard a certain amount of times, rather than bothering to type out Chrollo's name. But spellings like this are unfortunately not uncommon in Hunter x Hunter, although this is probably by far the most butchered name we have ever seen. But that pretty much does it for Chrollo. If you enjoyed this video and the content this channel produces in general, then please do consider donating to the New World Review Patreon, because the support of all of you amazing people is what continues to make this channel possible. And if Patreon isn't quite your style, then please do leave this video a like, share, or subscribe, because it also helps support this channel an incredible amount. And if you'd like to join the fun at any time, then please do head over to my Discord server, where a wide array of shenaniganry takes place on a daily basis. And finally, please do comment with who, what, or where you'd like to see featured in the next Hunter x Hunter 101. Is it Hunter x Hunter or Hunter x Hunter? If it's Hunter x Hunter, what happened to the X? Alright, here's a nice question, because this is one of those things that annoys me most in this world, which is when I hear people say Hunter x Hunter. The X is silent and it's not actually an X either. It's a multiplication symbol, and that very much confuses poor Western audiences who try to say Hunter x Hunter or Hunter times Hunter. But in Japan, this doesn't get confused in any way, shape, or form, and people just say Hunter x Hunter. And if anybody out there does insist on pronouncing the time symbol, then I hope that you also pronounce the titles of series like Yu Yu Hakusho as U***, because that's essentially the same thing.